Assalamu alaikum. My name is Hafsa Yasin, and today I'm here with another topic of Pakistan studies, that is Pakistan movement. In previous lecture we have already discussed about the Pakistan movement. Now we will move forward and talk about the next topics. Indian National Congress 1885. In December 1885, A. Hume, with the help of leaders of India, established the Indian National Congress. The aims and objectives of Indian National Congress were national building, to provide political forum, to promote political consciousness, to promote and create anti-colonial ideology, to prepare and put forward the popular demand of Indian National Congress before the government, safety value theory. So basically these of all were the aims and objectives of the Indian National Congress. They basically created this political party to make the national building, like ultimately they wanted to promote the nationality in the subcontinent. The next objective was to provide the political forum. As we already know that there was no political party in the subcontinent which basically represent the people of the subcontinent. So ultimately Indian National Congress claimed that they are the party, they are the political forum for all the people of the subcontinent. They just wanted to promote the political consciousness, like ultimately they wanted to promote that how the politics works, and ultimately how it is important for the people to participate in the political activities, to get their rights and to be the most active part of the government, to promote and create anti-colonial ideology. Ultimately we all know that British have made their or built their colonies in the subcontinent. So basically they wanted to uh, dis they basically wanted to discourage this particular phenomena, and ultimately the colonial system in the subcontinent. Next is partition of Bengal. After the formulation of Indian National Congress, we have seen that there happened a very major incident, that is partition of Bengal in 1905. Bengal was an area of 1,89,000 square kilometer with 80 million population. Uh, there was the routine administration by the British because the area was too big to handle for a single administration. So ultimately, the Lord Curzon decided to participate to basically practicalize this administrative scheme. East Bengal became incidentally a Muslim majority province, having almost 1,30,000 out of 3,10,000 population. West Bengal was a Hindu-Muslim majority province. The Congress joined the anti-partition movement. The main reason of Hindu protest was that they had loosened the grip over the eastern parts. The British government revoked the partition to avoid trouble. On the visit of King George V, the Muslims were disappointed by the government response to the violent strategy of the protests adopted by the Hindus. Ultimately, the partition of Bengal was a very positive initiative by the British government, because this have strengthened the rights of the Muslims in the Bengal, and ultimately the whole one side of the like East Bengal was all consistent of the Muslim, and ultimately there was their majority, and they were very happy by this decision. But Hindus have totally discouraged this particular decision. They think that this is the division of their state, and the main and Hindu have protested against this particular decision. And just to make it perfect, when King George V decided to visit the subcontinent, so basically they thought that there wouldn't cause any kind of trouble. They have just basically suspended the decision of the partition of the Bengal, and again the Bengal was one province in uh, 19011. Formation of the Muslim League in Dhaka, December 30, 1906. So All India Muslim League was formulated on 30th December 1906. Nawab Samiullah was the founder of the Muslim League, but later in March 1908, Sir Aga Khan was elected as the president of the All India Muslim League. In May 1908, Justice Amir Ali Sayyid organized a branch of Muslim League at London. The goals of the All India Muslim Leagues were protection and promotion of political rights and interest of the Muslim, कि मुसलमानों के हकूक़ की हिफाजत करना, उनके सियासी हकूक़ की हिफाजत करना और उनके इंटरेस्ट को प्रमोट करना, cooperation with other communities without prejudice to the above goal, कि दूसरी कम्युनिटीज़ के गोल्स को भी साथ कॉपरेट करना, और इसके साथ साथ मुसलमानों के जो पॉलिटिकल राइट्स हैं उनको भी प्रोटेक्ट करना, for fostering sense of loyalty among the Muslims towards the government, and ultimately to promote the sense of loyalty in the Muslims towards the government, to basically attain their goals. Change in the goals of the Muslim League in 1913. All India Muslim League decided to change its goals by adding self-government under the British Crown, keeping in view the peculiar conditions in the India. Basically, Muslims of the subcontinents have realized that ultimately the situation is not in the favor of the Muslims in the subcontinent anymore. So basically, instead of working with the British Crown, they have decided to work as the self-government under the British Crown, to basically keeping in view their own interest. A good relation with other communities, cooperating with any party working for similar goals. Ultimately, All India Muslim League have decided to support all the political parties who are working with the similar goals. This change brought the Muslim League and Congress closer. In this way, the era of cooperation between Hindus and Muslims set in. The role of the Quaid-e-Azam is highly noteworthy to bring the Congress and the Muslim League to the table. He joined the Muslim League in 1913. At that time, Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah was the part of All Indian National Congress and All India Muslim League, both political parties. Uh, Lucknow Pact 1916. The Lucknow Pact was product of Hindu-Muslim unity, which was basically invited by the Muhammad Ali Jinnah in December 1915. On the basis of this particular pact, he was named as the ambassador of Hindu-Muslim unity by Miss Sarojini. The constitutional proposal that was given in the Lucknow Pact were approved, and they were as mentioned: one-third seats for the Muslims in the Imperial Legislative Council, a separate electorate, half members of the Executive Council to be elected by the Imperial Legislative Council, commissioned ranks of the army for Indians, expansion of provincial legislative councils, half members of the Governor's Executive Council be elected by Provincial Legislative Council, weightage to minorities in the provinces. After that, the Khilafat movement was started. The Khilafat movement was already started in 1914, but it comes to the subcontinent in almost 1916 to 1919. It was a religious political movement with some particular goals. The goals of the Khilafat movement were as follow: Ottoman Khilafat should be kept intact, the Ottoman Khilafat shouldn't be disturbed at all. Territorial solidarity of Turkey be preserved. That ultimately the territorial solidarity, the grounds or the boundaries of the Turkey shouldn't be touched, or shouldn't be disturbed, and all the basically civilization of the Turkey should be preserved. Control of the holy places shouldn't be given to the non-Muslims, because the holy places belongs to the Muslim. So ultimately the control of these holy places should be given to the Muslims. These holy places include the Kaaba, Baitul Muqaddas, and all of the shrines of the prophets of Allah. All India Khilafat Committee was formed at Bombay in July 19. The first Khilafat conference at Delhi was held in November 1919, and it was arranged in which the Congress leaders like Gandhi and Nehru participated. Basically, in this Khilafat movement, even the non-Muslims were participating and supporting the cause of the Muslims. In this way, the major political parties joined hands to assault the injustice with the Muslim community. These steps were announced: no participation in victory celebrations. Ultimately, if in case the other party won the war, like it was the era of First World War, that if in case if the other party won the war, so they will not participate in the victory celebrations, as the British were the part of the war, boycott of the British goods, non-cooperation with the government. Even the non-cooperation movement with the government were run to basically coalesce with the government. The second Khilafat conference was held in December 1919. Maulana Muhammad Ali and Maulana Muhammad Shaukat Ali joined the session after being released from the prison. In Jan 1920, Muhammad M.A. Ansari led a delegation to Viceroy, while Maulana Muhammad Ali Johar to Europe. The Khilafat Committee decided to start non-cooperation in collaboration with the Congress in May 1920. But what we have seen, that this non-cooperation movement was basically ultimately stopped by the Gandhi without giving any kind of notification, and this caused a huge loss to the basically demands of the Muslims. Rowlatt Act 1919. Rowlatt Act was a black law introduced in India. To the law, the government got authority to persecute any Indian arrested, had no facility of legal assistance and right to appeal, just as the letters catch it in French. Before the French Revolution, Jinnah resigned from the central legislature as a protest. So basically, this act decided that no Indian, if he or she got arrested, they will have no right to get the legal assistance and right to appeal, because they will not be able to get this legal right. To protest against this law, Jinnah, who was the part of the central legislature, have just resigned from his post. To move forward, Khilafat conference was held in July 1921 in Karachi. In the session, the participants expressed their loyalty to the Turkish Sultan. They decided to continue the agitation and supported Ataturk to expel foreign forces from Turkey. The Hijrat movement in 1920 to 21, what was done, that the Indian ulama or the religious leaders basically declared India as Darul Harb. Darul Harb means the house of war. Darul Harb means the place or the country where Muslims are not allowed to perform their religious practices. In the said situation, the Muslims should migrate to the nearest safe places. The ulama issued verdict to go to Darul Islam, that was Afghanistan. There was an impression that King of Afghanistan would welcome them, so the migration took place at a large scale. Initially, Afghans welcomed them, later they closed their borders and pushed the migrants back to the Indian territories, and it resulted in the loss of lives, money, and capital. Many died during this mission. Some went to Soviet Union for Afghanistan because they had nothing in India now. End of the movement. Development in Turkey. In 1922, Ataturk emerged as a national leader and restricted powers of Sultan. Next, he was appointed as chief of the state by Grand National Assembly in March 1924. Khilafat was totally abolished. This caused a widespread resentment among the Indian Muslims. They sent delegation to Turkey but failed to achieve any of their objective. Conclusion. It was a reaffirmation of the reality that religion is a mobilizing force, and especially Islam has a mobilization capacity to organize masses. Because during the Khilafat movement, the masses were organized, and ultimately the masses have decided to basically migrate from the subcontinent, and this caused a huge destruct in the subcontinent. It was a movement launched on the basis of extraterritorialism. Later, no such movement but pan-Islamic sentiments continued. It resulted in the suffering of a Muslim. Hindu-Muslim unity proved short-lived, because ultimately during all this movement, Hindus have proved themselves that they are not loyal to the Muslims. They have started the non-cooperation movement against the British government, but ultimately they have just stopped participating in that movement with the Muslims. They have dismissed that cooperation. Then it was basically claimed that it was the decision by the authorities of the Congress to ask the Muslims to move or to basically migrate from the subcontinent, just to make sure that Muslims leave the subcontinent then the activation of the Muslim League and other Muslim organizations to restart their activities as a separate nation. This basically even realized the Muslim that they are not even the part of or they are not even equal to the non-Muslims, and ultimately they have reorganized their political structure, and now they have decided that we will separate our states from the Hindus. Thank you so much. That is it for today. See you in the next lecture.